right. Good morning, folks. Today is Friday, April 1st. We made it to the end of the week. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald Auger. In the next 30 minutes, you are going to be delivered the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I will provide expert analysis on, on each of these. Hold on. I got to get some coffee. This is out of control. What's going on right now? Hold on. Oh, that's the good stuff. All right, so I'm going to be giving my expert analysis on all these stories, which sometimes does get spicy. If you're a practitioner, huge value. You'll be able to dominate the day. If you're looking to break into the industry, also huge value. If you know what's going on in the industry, it gives you a leg up, and it can really help you couch your answers when you're in an interview. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions, your partner for incident response, ransomware protection, and business recovery. Eric Taylor, you know him, guys. He's part of the Simply Cyber community. His group over there at Barricade is doing good things. If you were live with us, love it. I see all you in chat. Thanks for being here. If you are on replay, thanks for catching the stream. I know it can be tough, especially West Coast folks on 8 a.m. Eastern. But if you want and you're watching replay and you just want to skip the formalities and pleasantries and get right into the news, that ticker in the bottom left corner, when it gets to 0, we're going to dive right in. But you can scrub right to the right because you have the pleasure of this being pre-recorded. But for the people who are live and for the next 1 minute and 11 seconds, I'm going to be welcoming you all into stream. But first, got to get some more coffee, y'all. This is something. David Meeson chat. What's up, David Meese? Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Everybody say good morning to David. Hope you're feeling well. Hope recovery's going wonderful. What's up, Terrace? What's up, Anna Lynn? Squad member. Love it. Alexander Pollock, Anna. There. Oh, who we got? Black Knight, I see you. Let's see. I got to make this a little bit bigger, guys. A little bit bigger. Let's see. Obina, yeah, it is a new month. I do have young children, so they were all telling me that they were going to shaving cream and lipstick me while I slept last night. Hey, Joey Hyde. Hey, Kayla. Good to see you, Patrick. Always nice, Raven. Christopher Word, new squad member. Love it. Hey, Carrie, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the reverse engineering malware analysis live stream we did yesterday at 4:30 p.m. with Josh Stroshine. I thought it was a really great stream. I love Josh. I love the work he does. What's up, Ms. Julian? Good to see you. Lupe. Guys, we made it to the end of the week. Let's finish strong and enjoy that weekend. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Nathan, with the shorts. I hear you 100%. Hey, Kimberly. Good to see you. Guys, if you want to play along, go to CISOseries.com, CISOseries.com. David Spark and his group, they put together the podcast that we listen to and piggyback on. They do fantastic work. So if you're not into Simply Cyber, you don't like, me, that's fine. No problem. But get the content here. It's a wonderfully produced podcast. Guys, I think it's that time. Let's dive in and get into the news.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Friday, April 1st, 2022. Palo Alto Networks error exposed customer support cases and attachments. A bug in the support dashboard of Palo Alto Networks exposed thousands of customer support tickets to an unauthorized individual, according to Bleeping Computer. The exposed information included names and business contact information of the person creating support tickets and conversations between Palo Alto Networks staff members and the customer. Evidence shared with Bleeping Computer indicates some support tickets contained attachments including firewall logs, configuration dumps, and other debugging assets. Palo Alto Networks says it has fixed the issue about 8 days after it was reported.
All right. So this is obviously not good, guys. Palo Alto, for those of you who don't know, they're mostly known for their firewalls, but they make network security appliances, essentially. By the way, this is not an endorsement or I'm not sponsored by Palo Alto, but I personally, in my work experience, have found Palo Alto technology to be fantastic. Very good at what it does. All right. So this particular story, first off, if you use Palo Alto, you may want to contact them proactively and ask them if any of your case files, your business's cases, were involved in this breach. because then you can begin to assess like what's the impact, right? What was in there? Couple things. Why would someone do this? Is it a big deal? In my opinion, couple things. One, it's perfect for spear phishing, right? So if I know that you're having trouble with your wildfire instance and how it's feeding into your firewall, well then as a spear phishing, I can just not text you, I can email you and say, hey, this is Jerry from Palo Alto, just following up on that wildfire issue you had, which obviously establishes trust and authority. Check out this executable that we just developed in-house to hot fix your particular problem. Boom, it's malware, right? I mean, this is kind of a simple explanation or a simple scenario, but you get the idea. By having that information, you can actually establish some type of trust. Also worth noting, typically when you open a support case, you're experiencing problems. Your things are not working the way they're supposed to. So you, as a threat actor, would know, okay, like their firewalls in their Indiana office are not working correctly. Perhaps I target that. Also, hey, here's a list of IP addresses. Here's my external, egress point into the internet. So there's a lot of call it raw data that could be weaponized by threat actors. So anyways, long story short, if you have PAs, find out if your stuff was involved.
New acid rain data wiper malware targets modems and routers.
You guys remember modems, right?
This malware has been loosely linked to the cyber attack that targeted the KA-SAT satellite broadband service on February 24th, affecting thousands in Ukraine and tens of thousands across Europe. It is designed to brute force device file names and wipe every file it can find, making it easy to redeploy in future attacks. Once deployed, it goes through the compromised router or modem's entire file system. It also wipes flash memory, SD cards, and any virtual block devices it can find, using all possible device identifiers and then rebooting the device, rendering it unusable.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of nasty. And, I'm not saying I endorse this, right? But I like the name Acid Rain. It kind of gives the illusion, it kind of specifically informs that it's a wiper, right? Because it would burn whatever it touches. Okay, so this is interesting. It's targeting satellite modems, right? If I had to guess, guys, you know what I think of when I think of satellite modems? Starlink, and how Elon Musk sent all of those Starlinks to Ukraine. I don't know if that is what Viasat is, if Viasat's involved, but that's what I immediately think of. The malware itself, they said, interestingly, does brute force guessing on file name conventions. Now, real quick, like a lot of these smaller IoT devices, they will run something called BusyBox, which is like a lightweight Linux. It's not Linux instance, but without getting too deep, like usually these IoT devices, these simple appliances, they will run a stripped down version of Linux. And then they'll put this thing called BusyBox on it that'll have stripped down versions of common binaries or executables like ls or cat, right? Like some of these common Linux things, they'll be in there, and the BusyBox instance kind of containerizes that. Anyways, all of that is to say that guessing file names and brute forcing them for deletion is not completely ridiculous, because a lot of these devices will have known file name structures for their binaries and for their file structure. So it's not outrageous. This thing is pretty nasty. I find it well produced, thoughtful, and deliberate that the thing reboots itself when it's done messing with it, because that really ensures that you got a brick device. So anyways, be on the lookout. If you are using satellite modems, you may want to check into this. I didn't understand how the Acid Rain malware gets on the modem. That's a separate thing, whether it's like doing network scans or if you have to push a USB into it or whatever, but whatever. It's just another wiper. Like this Ukrainian-Russian conflict, man, there's been wipers for days.
Remote code execution flaws in Spring and Spring Cloud frameworks put Java apps at risk. This development has sparked fears that it could have a widespread impact across enterprise environments, since Spring is one of the most popular open source frameworks for developing Java applications. The flaw, which has been since dubbed Spring Shell or Spring 4 Shell with the number 4, is tracked as CVE 2022-22965 and is rated critical. The Spring developers confirmed that its impact is remote code execution, which is the most severe impact a vulnerability could have.
Yep.
A Chinese developer released a proof-of-concept exploit on GitHub and then removed it, prompting widespread speculation about the unpatched flaw, its causes, and potential impact. There was also some early confusion between this vulnerability and a different one patched Tuesday in Spring Cloud, a microservices library that is different from the core Spring framework. This will be a developing story.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So real quick, if you are using Spring Cloud, either one in your environment to kind of like host Java applications, this could be externally internet facing. You definitely absolutely have to make sure that you get this thing patched, okay? Remote code execution basically means you can be on the internet and pop it, right? They call it Spring for Shell, obviously, to kind of piggyback on the Log4 shell vulnerability from December of 2021. Real quick, also worth noting that a proof of concept exploit was released on GitHub and then it was removed. But guys, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet, right? So there's no guarantee that removing it from the GitHub erased it from the internet's consciousness. When we are doing vulnerability management, I've talked about this on the show before, there's a temporal variable of how exploitable the vulnerability is. So this one's pretty bad because it's remote code execution. I'm assuming you can get on the box, possibly execute as a privileged account. If not, you can elevate privileges. So that makes it bad. And then it becomes a question of how exploitable is it? And if there's already a proof of concept out there, it won't be long before it is being exploited in the wild. So that, for me, makes this a priority if I had it in my environment, which I do not, which is great. But just, be aware. This is not one to mess around with. I would say we'd likely hear about a story in the next couple weeks, like probably before the end of April, of some machine getting popped with Spring for Shell and it being a problem. But I also said that for Log4Shell and the internet did not burn down. So maybe I should hedge my predictions with this one. Long story short, patch your Springs.
FBI arrests 65 in business email compromise scams that took $51 million from U.S. businesses. Dubbed Operation Eagle Sweep, it also led to 12 arrests in Nigeria, 8 in South Africa, 2 in Canada, and 1 in Cambodia. Business email scams are often reliant on the work of money mules who help fraudsters move stolen funds. As part of Operation Eagle Sweep, for instance, the FBI arrested 8 individuals in Houston on charges of laundering almost $900,000 in proceeds from victim businesses over a period of 2 years. The FBI operation began in September 2021 and took place over 3 months.
Yeah, guys, I've actually was just recording a executive briefing on business email compromise yesterday. This is no joke, people, okay? I'm going to spend a minute on this one. Listen to me. Business email compromise in 2021 in the United States, as reported by the FBI, was a $5.9 billion criminal enterprise, right? Basically, business email compromise is where it can happen a bunch of different ways, but essentially you just convince somebody at a company to send money out the door, right? That's as simple as it is. They call it business email compromise because typically the traditional attack was you pretend to be an executive and you email someone in accounting or the CFO with some urgent matter. We're trying to close a project. We're trying to do this acquisition, whatever. And you need to send this money out the door. Hold on one second. My dogs are losing their mind. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So it's going to be a little noisy in the background, guys. I've got some stuff happening. Basically.
In the words of
Oh, thanks, Chuck. Oh, geez. I got all sorts of stuff going on. Give me grace, guys. 1 second. All right. Just as a quick, production note, I basically had a hardwired Ethernet wire run into my office last week, and the electrician staff drilled a hole through the side of my house, like to the outside of the house. And obviously they need to fix that. And they're here fixing that, which I didn't know when they were coming. And now my dogs are losing their mind because my house is basically one huge kennel for my dogs. And these people are touching their kennel. Okay. Business email compromise, guys. The reason that you need to be aware of it, because it's very easy to trick executives and finance and accounting people to send money out the door. And as big as ransomware is, as much pub as it gets, business email compromise is just as frequent and as successful, right? Just for what it's worth. If I was a threat actor, I would not go with ransomware. I would go with business email compromise and then probably crypto miners as my side hustle. Okay. So just be aware this is a real thing. The FBI has a lot of great write-ups on business email compromise and the different ways that it's actually perpetrated. So just be aware of that. Also, fun fact, we have recently seen, as reported by Microsoft, where deep fakes, and you guys know I love my deep fakes, deep fake technology is being used to help perpetrate business email compromise. Well, what's this look like, Jerry? Let me tell you. So I pretend to be the CEO or whoever, right? I've got deep fake tech. So I call or I Teams or I Zooms or I WebEx the CFO or the finance and accounting person, and I have the CEO's face on, right? So it's like, hey, what's up? The meeting starts. Like, oh, I'm the CEO. Like my digital face is moving around. And then I'm like I'm mad. So then I turn off my camera, I turn off my microphone, and I chat and say, hey, my microphone and camera are messed up. I don't have time to mess with this technology because I've got an important thing. We're trying to do this project. That's why I Zoomed you or whatever. We need to get this money out the door. And because you just saw me, the level of trust is through the roof. Like, why would I not execute on this request? I'm looking at the CEO. So deep fakes for the win.
First time we got hit with ransomware, it took us weeks. Hackers posing as police. Bloomberg reports that the tech giants fell prey to a phishing operation that tricked employees into handing over customer data to cyber criminals posing as law enforcement. In 2021, the hackers sent fake emergency data requests to the companies demanding customer information, including street addresses, IP addresses, and phone numbers. The messages included forged signatures of police officers. Sources say the perpetrators are believed to be affiliated with Recursion Team, a now defunct hacking group that is said to have spawned members of the infamous Lapsus ransomware gang. Allison Nixon, chief research officer at cyber firm Unit 221B, commented, quote, in every instance where these companies messed up, at the core of it, there was a person trying to do the right thing, end quote.
Yep, exactly. Guys, at the end of the day, and this is why it's so important to educate your end users, guys. This isn't for an annual checkbox compliance thing. It's not to like impress and woo the marketing department about how cool stuff you know about technology or security, or like you're going to pop a shell, really impress them. No, end user awareness is literally about educating end users on proper cyber hygiene. People want to do the right thing. And when they don't know about these scams or these attacks and stuff like that, they're going to do the right thing. Just like I just mentioned, where the finance person is going to send the money out the door because the CEO is telling them to do it. Why wouldn't they? Their job is to, follow what the business is saying, do what the business is saying. And in this instance, we talked about this yesterday, giving sensitive data out when a request comes in from a law enforcement officer or, appears to be a law enforcement officer. Why wouldn't they do that? So it's brilliant. So we have to educate our end users on these things. And more importantly, GRC people, we need to have good processes in place, not just good processes, but processes that the executive and leadership team have reviewed, approved, and overtly support. Because when you're telling the CEO, I am not going to move that money for you, you don't want to get fired, but we have a process. You approved it. We agreed that this is the process. So I'm not sending the money out until I have a second approval or until you call me on an out of band way to authorize me to send this money out, right? So anyways, there's a lot of setup in order to do things well. But in the absence of that, if you're moving quick, if you're a small company or something like that, this stuff can happen. By the way, posing as a law enforcement officer, that is a big step. That's a big line to cross right there. You getting some serious heat for that.
QNAP customers adrift, waiting on fix for OpenSSL bug. In addition to the deadbolt ransomware that we told you about last week, QNAP is now also dealing with an OpenSSL bug that it has not got a fix for. The bug affects most of its network-attached storage devices and can trigger an infinite loop that creates a denial of service scenario. Though the bug, tracked as CVE 2022-0778 with a CVSS rating of 7.5, has been patched by OpenSSL, QNAP hasn't got around to applying a fix yet. The company is telling customers that, quote, there is no mitigation available and that they must check back and install security updates as soon as they become available, end quote.
Okay. It's a day that ends in Y, so there's a QNAP issue, right? Jeez. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. This is basically an OpenSSL bug. It has to do with the way the SSL certificate is parsed and read in by a querying service or app or individual. They actually lay out kind of some of the impact scenarios, right? These are scenarios of users using the box. These are instances of QNAP. So QNAP is typically, it's a network attached storage device. It's had a whole host of problems. If you've been watching First Things First for any length of time, then you know this. Long story short, this is more often a customer NAS solution, not an enterprise, but small businesses will use these type of solutions as they're kind of, maturing as an organization. Long story short, if you have QNAP, you should already be aware of patching it and keeping it up to date. I will point out, it looks like the bug could result in a denial of service, really not really, a data breach compromise type thing. Also, this is going to be kind of an unpopular opinion, guys, but I've talked about vulnerability management on the channel before, right? I have run vulnerability management programs. I have seen the results of vulnerability scanners, right? OpenSSL bugs, running TLS 1.1, an out-of-date cert, all these things, having insecure cryptographic algorithms available on something, they're all there, and they go often unremediated. Okay, so I'm not saying you shouldn't do something about this, but I'm saying the Spring RCE vuln, that one should be a priority. This one's important, but in all honesty, you could probably never fix this and it wouldn't be awful. Okay. Again, that's not a popular opinion. I'm not endorsing not having good cyber hygiene. I'm just saying not all vulnerabilities are created equal. I guess that's what I'm saying.
BlackGuard, a new info stealer peddled on Russian hacker forums. Zscaler says that the new malware strain is sophisticated and has been made available to criminal buyers for a low monthly price of $200. According to the cybersecurity researchers, BlackGuard can steal information including saved browser credentials and history, email data, FTP accounts, autofill content, conversations in messenger software, cryptocurrency credentials, and other account information. Targeted messenger apps include Telegram, Signal, Element, and Discord. When it comes to cryptocurrency theft, the malware will target files such as wallet.dat files that may contain wallet addresses and private keys, and BlackGuard may also go after Chrome and Edge cryptocurrency wallet browser extensions. The malware, however, will exit if the OS appears to be located in Russia, Belarus, or Azerbaijan.
Well, okay, couple things. One, if you guys were on the live stream, Simply Cyber Live last night with Josh Stroshine, then this will look a little bit familiar about how the malware is packed, how it's encoded, right? Base 64 is no big deal, but and it'll also check to see if it's in a sandbox, right? So this is, if you guys don't know, malware does what malware does, right? It does whatever the bad thing is it's designed to do. But also more advanced malware will actually have logic in it to like shut itself down or not execute or delete itself in some instances if it is being analyzed. Like there are ways to tell if you're being analyzed, like as a piece of code, right? You look at is are you know is a pate DNS running? Is Procmon running? Like like malware will look at running processes in memory to see if reverse engineer analyst tools are running, because as a reverse engineer or malware analyst, you'll start your tools up, then you'll run the binary in order to capture what's going on and stuff like that. So intelligent, sophisticated malware will do that. Also, they said it won't run in basically Russia, Belarus, and Azerbaijan. So it's trying to be selective about its victim base, or who its victim base will not be. So very, very interesting. As a piece of malware, it's an info stealer. This isn't brand new. Like this is kind of well known. Redline info stealer is quite a popular piece of malware right now that we're seeing quite a bit of activity with. And all it does is, guys, it steals your browser credentials. So do not, like when Chrome, Firefox pops up and says, "Do you want to save your password here?" No, I don't. Stop asking me. Don't do that. You'll also notice it'll target messengers like Telegram, Signal, Discord, right? A lot of us use these tools. Also worth noting, like Signal is supposed to be, super secure, right? Which it is in transit and on the servers, but at the endpoint, it could be compromised, and that's what's happening here. Also, they're obviously going after crypto wallets and stuff like that. So if you have a hardware wallet, or a localized instance of your wallet, because you're not going to let Coinbase control your money, this will steal that too. So interesting bit of malware. Another, I guess, hot take, if I may, this just occurred to me while I was hearing this story. Hot take time, guys. Okay, let me. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Plug it in. Do it in charade. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Oh my god. Oh my god. What a hot mess. What a hot mess. What a hot mess on fire. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Audio loops with interface. This says it's working. It says my audio is good, people. It says my audio is good. How's my audio? Says fire computer kills audio. It's up now. No sound. What can we panic? There you are. All right. You guys got me? Okay. Thank you. Here we go.
Operating system Windows 11 appears to be slowing if figures from Add Duplex are to be believed. Instead, Windows 10 continues to dominate, an indicator that either users are not upgrading or, and this is probably more likely, Microsoft's stringent hardware compatibility requirements are keeping the operating system off users' PCs. After a relatively healthy start to the year, Windows 11 only managed to grow its share of the systems surveyed by Add Duplex by a paltry 19%. Its Windows 10 equivalent, 21H2, continued to comfortably romp ahead, increasing from 21% at the end of February to 28.5% in March. In fact, well over half of the survey were still running 2021's Windows 10.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Apologies for the audio snafu. It's tough. I've got great mod support, but the production up here is a one-man show, and it's just. So Windows 11 growth, guys. Let me point this out. Windows 10 made a big splash. Microsoft has done a good job of making better operating systems. I'll say that. What they have not done a good job of is rolling out the operating system upgrades in a way that is digestible for the general public. Like Windows 7, then Windows 8, and then Windows 8.1. Like, what are we doing here, Microsoft? Then we didn't get a Windows 9. Then it was Windows 10, which was the main branch of Windows. And then, like, they just dumped Windows 11 out of nowhere. I don't know about you. Maybe they had a really nice marketing strategy, but the way that I saw it from a practitioner and someone who works in corporate America, it was kind of like, it was almost like they finished Windows 11 and they were just so excited about it that they just pushed it, right? And instead of having like a coordinated rollout strategy. Also, I want to note that I have personally seen that Windows 11 has some compatibility issues. So if your business, which is not uncommon, right? If your business is running mission critical applications to support the business, it is not uncommon for Windows 11 to break it, right? So of course you're not going to upgrade to Windows 11. It doesn't work for your business. Plus, Windows 10, everybody just moved to Windows 10. People are just getting on Windows 10, right? Like, it's supported, it works. There's no impetus to move to Windows 11. So, of course, we're seeing the growth come to a standstill. Also, one thing that Microsoft does that really chaps my butt, they are doing like auto push pop-ups to end users, right? So it'll pop up and it'll be like, and it's kind of misleading too. It'll be a pop-up and it'll be like, hey, end user, how would you like to get some new functionality? Just click here. And it's basically a forced Windows 11 upgrade, which the end user doesn't know any better, with all due respect. The end user doesn't know what apps are going to break. And then they do it because they want new features, unaware that you are initiating an upgrade of your operating system, right? So, shame on Microsoft. Like, I get it. They probably have some projections that they have to hit for the shareholders, but for, practice and for real life, don't force my end users to upgrade, right? Don't give them the option. What are you doing here? That should be a configurable option for an IT department to squish that from happening, because it's not fair. Because then you're getting calls of like, oh, my ERP app isn't working. Can you help me? And it's like, no, I can't help you, Carl. You upgraded your operating system, bro. All right.
About live content over here.
Okay. All right. Woo. Quick little spice at the end there, huh? Woo! All right, guys. So this has been First Things First. You guys are absolutely wonderful. April Fool's Day. I wish it was a joke that I was doing this with the siding contractors coming here, my dog's flipping out, my audio issues. But you know what? This is why I get up every single morning and hit go live, because you guys are absolutely fantastic. You're so supportive. you make this a real treat, and I genuinely appreciate it. Now, real quick, guys, if you want, Neil Bridges is doing Tea with a Hacker right now. So if you go over to Cyber Insecurity on YouTube and you drop a hashtag Simply Cyber, we can raid him, let him know. I'm going to do it right now just to like tee it up. Simply Cyber. Good. All right, guys, I hope you're well. We did great work. We finished March strong. I hope you're ready and equipped. Let's kill this Friday and get into the weekend and have a good time. Thank you, all of you. Be good, and we will see you next Monday at 8 a.m. Be good, everybody.